Geminis, you got an in conjunction sign, and I call this the almost opposite sign, right? So we're gonna deal with some mild friction, okay? And y'all theme is I named y'all detoxing the shadow for a more improved reality. Detoxing the shadow for a more improved reality. Why did I name it that? Because we got sun and moon in the eighth house. We got the sun and the moon in the eighth house all season, Gemini. You've been seeing your shadow. All season, you've been seeing your attachments. All season, you've been seeing the things that you hold deep, either from a trauma perspective, from an attachment perspective. Attachment being a vice, attachment being a person, whatever the fuck. We know everything we hold in the eighth house is deep. All right, Deacon from the hip. Shout out to you, brother. Go ahead, get your rest, brother. All the work you be working. All right, we know how much energy you give to the church, fam. All right. So we know, Gemini, how much things we hold deep. The eighth house is where we hold things deep in general. Okay. So you've been seeing the shadow of the whole eighth house, whether it's an attachment, the fact that the sun is in the eighth house, the sun lights up what's in the dark. So it may be some things that you may not you're attached to, you're connected to, but you wasn't never really looking at it something as being so detrimental, right? You never looked at it as something being, detrimental to what you're building or whatnot, but you're realizing these are things you may need to transform in some type of shape or form. Uh, but with that being said, the sun and moon in the eighth house is trining with Uranus in the 12th. So when you got a house like the eighth house that already deals with transformation, then you got the sun in here paying attention to what needs to be changed, what's heavy in here or what not, what we could transform and transmute. All right. Then Mars comes in here. So it takes the transformation, transmutation process to a whole nother level. Okay, but when these energies harmonize with Uranus, look at all these influences talking about transformation in your life, Gemini. Why you think you can't hold on to nothing the same way right now? Why you think you can't hold on to certain friendships right now? Why you think that's changing? Why you probably think these things in your work environment changing, things in your personal life changing? You dealing with so much fucking transformative influences, and that's so funny. So the more Gemini sunrise wants to hold on to what they always knew, hold on to what make them feel comfortable, it's gonna be more intense situation. You gotta get along with the get along right now, Gemini sunrises. And I love y'all. Y'all my air cousins, but y'all is one sign that could say y'all is one sign that sometimes want to stay a little too attached to what y'all know already, to what's familiar to y'all already, you know? And when you got Uranus in the 12th house, trining an energy to the eighth house, these are two water houses, the subconscious houses. We got the eighth house dealing with our deep passions and desires, right? And things that we need to transform and transmute that are in the dark, our shadow. Then we got the 12th house that's dealing with more so our imagination. So right now you're in a space of understanding, hopefully, understanding how you taking the initiative to uplift heavy energies in your life, dealing with attachments or whatever negative influences you might be dealing with, things that you need to heal, taking the initiative to heal certain things and finding out how to heal, right? You a very studious sign, so I know if you put your mind to it, you're gonna figure some shit out or learn some shit. But with you taking the initiative, right? You taking the initiative to heal certain things in these spaces, or just you know analyzing how your attachment energy in general is taken away from your ability to build. That's one of the main things going on with you right now, Gemini Sun Rising. That's some of the main things, and you're one of the relationship signs. So there's a lot of filtering and detoxing that you may have to do around this time, not just with your own ideologies, but the ideologies and thoughts that may have been thrown on you from your surroundings and people you're around. This is why a lot of my Gemini sunrises, the minute y'all say, and y'all shouldn't even be communicating and talking about anything. That's hard to do. You're a Gemini, but you shouldn't even be communicating and really talking about all this shit you want to transform and change, because you're gonna get discouraged if you haven't already got discouraged. Telling your somebody you dating, your friend, your family members, this, that, you finna change this, you finna cut this out, you finna fast that, fast on that. You probably got discouraged seeing the way they responded to it, because don't nobody want to hear that shit. Don't nobody want to hear that shit, Capricorn. And excuse me, Gemini. And some people may not even be, the people you surrounded by may not be in that frequency vibration in general. Okay. So, like, guys, with all this Uranus energy in general, like we all been shedding a lot of energies, because when you try to change and transform things, not everybody can come. Not everything can come. All right. So you have to make sure you're not allowing the things that you staying attached to, the things that you've always known, the things that's familiar to you to hold you back from your transformation process, guys. We got too much energies in the air right now influencing change. I'll be damn if my church allows any of these energies to halt their transformation process. We is not playing that in 2024, y'all. We're not playing that, and we got to just remain accountable and be the example. Okay. Um, Gemini Sun risings, your intuition is very loud right now with these energies harmonizing between the eighth and the 12th house, the water houses. So I think you need to start listening more to the voices inside, and allow yourself to be easy with how you're just digesting everything that people may be communicating to you, the people, the way people are critiquing the things they're trying to change and transform in your life. All right. You got to be very conscious of that. Another thing is you have such a strong ability right now to heal and help people with their transformation process right now. Such a strong ability. Even if you ain't the most stable with yours, your ability to communicate certain things based off of what you're learning and seeing, this is very powerful right now. So if you're Gemini Sun rising, you're building anything in the world that's you're connecting out into the world and it's helping people deal with a sense of healing, a sense of transformation in their life. This is probably why this around this time it could gain a lot of traction, especially while Mars is in your eighth house, which is going to be there for a while. And I want y'all to embrace the fuck out this energy, because as a relationship sign myself, you know how much times we pick up energies from other people. You got some signs that be saying fuck the outside world, and they need to feel other, they need to learn how to pick up the other thoughts and influences from other people. Air signs, sometimes we need to go in hibernation mode because we're doing it too much, and then we start getting removed from what our true ideologies and thoughts are about things. Shout out to Oscar Gabriel Santos Diaz, happy to tune in for this. Though the energies already affect us subconsciously, knowing what energy is hitting at the moment help me stay focused. Thanks. I appreciate your family. I appreciate your brother. Little, hold on, little healing water. All right, brother. Okay, so that's what we got going on with my Gemini Sun risings. Like your ability to uplift your own subconscious and be the example for others. That shit is doing numbers right now, Gemini. But understand you in a very having these influences between these houses is a real self-reflective space. So that's why I want y'all to be just very conscious about how y'all digest information coming from the external, because right now your intuition is what you need to be listening to. Your intuition is going to tell you exactly everything that's an attachment. Your intuition is telling you exactly everything that's too heavy in the eighth house, and then the 12th house, Uranus in the 12th house. Uranus in this bitch, Uranus deal with transformation, right? Uranus deal with power, but Uranus in your 12th. So right now Uranus is telling the sun and moon in the eighth, like, yo, look, I ain't gonna lie, to some of these healing properties in the 12th house, the 12th house deal with healing. Some of these healing properties and shit in the 12th house, I think y'all could use some of that shit over there. And then together we could probably start building some new shit, because we got a whole new emotional awareness in this bitch. That's what's going on. All right. In the most ghetto astrology defined way. All right. So I want my Geminis to be embrace the self-reflection, and Gemini, stop feeling like you need to go to somebody else to get a confirmation on what the fuck you feeling right now. You got too much feels to be having to ask somebody else about. No, you this trust this right now. I'm telling you, Waterhouse is going crazy. All right. Then we got the sextile to Neptune in the 10th. So I just said I'm not even realizing that placement, but I'm talking about how you have the ability to bring a level of understanding to people and help other people with their transmutation process, right? So now sextile and Neptune in the 10th, there's most likely going to be situations where, your creativity can find ways to blossom in career right now. That can bring a lot of transformation for you right now. All right. The sun and moon may be looking at a lot of potential energy. What's going on in the 10th house that needs to turn into from potential energy into part of your blueprint. All right. That needs to turn from potential energy into the blueprint. With the sun and moon in the eighth house, sun and moon feeling deeply and paying attention to what needs to be changed, but they're making contact with Neptune in the 10th. It's looking at it from like, yo, the experience, the things that we can transform here, the things we understand about the subconscious, and we could just project some of that in the 10th house, whether we're doing it through a brand, business, or we're just being an example of it in the world, that could manifest some opportunities or just help bring expansion into our life in some type of shape or form. Yes, you're very right. That's what your intuition is telling you, and that's what you need to embrace. All right. Then we got Mars and Capricorn. Mars and Capricorn trining Jupiter in the 12th house. Okay. So Mars and Capricorn, once again, is in the 8th house. Anything, Gemini, this is not the time to hold on to attachments. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, this is not the time you need to really, when you feel the heavy calling and friction to let go of something, you need to let go, because you're just gonna run into an intense situation with Mars in your eighth. Mars don't play that in the eighth. Mars is, when we talk about detoxing, filtering out heavy energies. This is the placement you want. This is the transit you want to help you deal with some sense of why my collar looks so, with a sense of transformation and shit, with the ability to, this the transit you want when you feel like you need a spiritual push to help overcome something, to conquer something. So Gemini, take a deep breath, hit a woosah, let that motherfucker go. All right. And let Mars redesign how you deal with your passions and your motives, and have more clarity, have more of a blueprint towards how you uh understand what things affect your emotional awareness, and how you understand how things with your attachments is affecting your ability to build. All right. So we got that going on. And then we got the sextile to Saturn in the 10th. We got the sextile to Saturn in the 10th. Since Saturn moved into your 10th house last year, Gemini sunrises, all you've been understanding is that, you know, the things you want to build potential for in the 10th house, Pisces in the 10th is always, Gemini always sees a huge potential with what can happen in the 10th house. But the fact Saturn moved in there all 2023, it was more so about application, getting your resources together, and being intentional about putting work and time into this 10th house. So much things can, I've said this as soon as Saturn got into Pisces for y'all. I said, yo, Gemini sun rises, this Saturn and Pisces transit could be one of the most life-changing transits in your life, because Saturn stays in the house for what, 3 years, stays in the sign for about, you know, that duration. So when you get that energy passing your 10th, when you get that energy passing your 10th, you know, you gotta take advantage of that bitch. You got to, granted, it's gonna move into your 11th. That's another Saturn house, but you don't play with Saturn in the 10th house. You use that time to make sacrifices in life to see your 10th house grow, because you know you have an energy in there that can make your fucking 10th house grow. All right. But if it comes with honoring time, it comes with honoring, you know, focus and concentration with your 10th house. The more the Gemini sun rising can do that in the 10th house, it's too many fruits that I can even name that will manifest for y'all in career. All right, Gemini sun risings, detoxing the shadow for a more improved reality. You're working inside out, right? I want y'all to understand what's going on with y'all, any heavy energies, attachments in your life, because just removing those or being conscious about how you're dealing with those can just open up so much clarity and opportunity with how you guys can take some power within your reality. All right. Shout out to my Geminis. All right. Cancers.